Welcome to the Watts Wellness Podcast. My name is Corey Watts.
And my name is Sanchia Watts.
Based in Perth, Western Australia, both of us have been on our own self-development journeys for many years now, which has led to this moment.
The intention behind the Watts Wellness Podcast is to help you meet yourself deeply as you navigate your own human experience.
Become present in this moment.
Take a deep belly breath.
And be open to receiving this week's episode.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Watts Wellness Podcast. Today, I am joined by my dear friend, yoga instructor, meditation instructor, and coach, Jordan. Welcome.
Thanks, Sanch. Thanks for having me. I'm excited to be here.
Yeah, it's going to be good. We're going to dive deep today. We're going to explore lots of different topics that I think lots of people would be interested in. And I'm really excited to get into it.
Yeah, me too.
Cool. Awesome. So we always start out every episode with a strength and a challenge. So this kind of gives people like a bit of insight into what you've been going through, what you're navigating, what's been like a strength from the last week, and what's also been a challenge.
That's a good question. I think a challenge has been getting on the brink of burnout beginning of the week, and having to take like a whole day off, not doing anything, and just really recognizing my body was like coming down with maybe coming to a bit of sickness or exhaustion, and I was like, all right, I need to take a moment to step back and stop giving, which is what you do as a yoga teacher and a coach and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, I guess that was probably quite a bit of a challenge because I was in like this real good state of flow, but I was like, if I keep going, I'm just going to burn out. And we're getting towards, the pointy end of the year. Christmas is coming and New Year's, and I want to be really present there for my friends and family. And I want to be burnt out and just exhausted through this period where like it's a nice time to connect with everyone. So I guess I can also flip that and be like, that was a strength too. In like knowing and recognizing my body was burning out and taking a moment to be like, hey, I'm going to have today off, and really honoring that and just taking a day off. And then I felt really, really good the next day after having that day off. It's like, okay, I'm back in my body now. I feel good.
Yeah, nice. That's awesome. I feel like mine was the exact same, literally just on the brink of burnout at the start of the week and just feeling really drained because, like, as you said, we hold space for lots and lots of people in the jobs that we both do. And yeah, it can be really draining. And I think a lot of people as well are sort of like looking to teachers or healers as like a way to get almost their cups topped up fully. And we just have to make sure that our cups are super topped up in order to serve. So I honestly feel like mine's been the same.
Yeah.
Strength and challenge. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's so true. Like in a beautiful way, that's what it's like being able to be a sound healer or a yoga teacher, meditation teacher, coach, whatever it is. People look to you for advice or look towards you to be able to be like, hey, like I can really refill my energy cup up here. I'm going to feel really good and connect back in with myself. And it's been able to support and hold that container with your full cup for them to be able to take from.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And I also find as well, like when you are on the brink of burnout, like your intuition's just off as well. Hey, you just cannot connect with it.
Yeah. And it's just like everything just clouded headed, meditations are struggling, everything's struggling. It's like, oh my God, I really need to just fill my cup back up and recenter myself.
Totally. What are like the biggest things that drain your cup or drain your energy?
I think just whenever I show up, I really want to show up at like 120%. Like I don't go half-assed, I guess, if you'd say that. And I just love facilitating and being able to hold space. And I'm teaching a yoga class, I'm putting my energy into that class while still being myself. So I feel like just really having to be out there and just being like, hey, like really always trying to show up, I guess, as a happy, positive person every single day because I teach every single day except for one day a week. Yeah. So like you don't want to rock up to a yoga class and the teacher be there and be like, how you going? And you're like, oh shit. You know what I mean? Yeah, so I think that's the biggest one, just monitoring like how I'm showing up within my public classes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, feel that. I feel like there's such a stigma around yoga teachers, sound healers, they've always got to be on.
Yeah.
Like if you rock up to a class and they're not on, the whole vibe is just shifted in the room.
Yeah.
And it always goes exactly how it's supposed to. But yeah, there is this added pressure that I don't think many people realize. Like we constantly have to be up here, especially if we also don't want to absorb everyone else's energy as well. Like our vibe has to be high.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And so true. And it's like until you're in a position where you're holding space for a duration of time and then there's a lot going through. It's like you don't really understand how tiring that can be.
So tiring.
Especially when you're on the other side of it. If you're just there receiving it, things can feel great. But to be able to then hold space for 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 people. Last Friday, I taught yoga to 400 people.
Yeah, wow.
It was huge.
Wow.
So
where was that?
That was at Cold Nips.
Amazing.
So Cold Nips and Perth is Okay had a Perth is Okay day.
Nice.
To launch summer. And yeah, there was 400 people down there at 5 a.m. doing yoga at the beach.
Yeah.
It was incredible.
How do you have any pressure that comes up when you're about to go into those spaces, and how do you navigate all that?
Nah, I love it.
You love it?
I thrive on it.
Awesome.
I probably get more pressure when I'm like trying to do recordings that I've done for like corporates and stuff like that, when I'm sitting there and all this lighting's on me and it's just me and this cameraman and I'm a bit like, oh, like it's a bit how you going.
Yeah.
But other than that, no, when there's like big people there, like the bigger the crowd, the more full the yoga class, like I just bounce off that energy and I'm like, this is awesome. I feel really, really grounded in myself. But I guess that also comes from like the confidence within myself. Probably when I started, I would have been scared shitless to do that. But it's like, no, I know I'm a confident teacher. I know I trust in myself and the way I teach. So I just go there and have fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
Amazing. So I want to loop it back a little bit to give people some context on like maybe how we met and also your personal journey and what's gone on and how did you get to this confident place that you're in today.
Yeah.
But yeah, maybe just so people have that context of how we actually know each other. We met at a yoga studio.
Yeah.
And I was just starting out Sound Healings and I was hiring out the space, and Jordan had just taught a class before. And we met and I was like, hey, and you were like, hey. And from there, what kind of happened? I think we
crossed paths at another event.
Yeah.
That's
right.
And then we linked up at that event and we just chatted. And then I think I was like, oh, we should look at doing like a yoga and sound collab or something like that. And you said, yeah. And then like, we just caught up for a drink or a coffee or something like that. Or a matcha now, or a tea. Or a cacao even.
Yes.
But yeah, something like that. And then we just caught up, and from there it's like, oh, let's create this event together. And then we cracked eyes closed, hearts open.
Yeah.
And then we launched our first Echo, as we call it. And I think we've done how many now? 4 or 5?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. And then they've been incredible. Every single one's just been amazing. So
amazing.
Yeah, that was, I guess, how we met and then how we moved into working together and just kept a close connection through that. Plus Welcome Home Wednesdays.
Yes.
I forgot about that. That was last summer. That was a bit fun as well.
That was fun.
Yeah. For those that don't know, Welcome Home Wednesdays was like a community group we started. People would come down and pay $10 and we'd either do like yoga, meditation, breath work, sound healing, different stuff like that, Pilates. And then the money that they got went into a kitty, and then all that money we put back into the community. We ran free events and we did all that kind of stuff. So it was good fun.
It was awesome.
Yeah.
It was so cool. But yeah, I think a lot of people probably know us from yoga, from sound healing, and then creating Eyes Closed, Hearts Open was like one of the most magical creations and ceremonies, combining yoga, cacao, meditation. It's been awesome.
Yeah, and then Sanch coming in and blowing them open with the sound.
Yeah,
so it's awesome.
Been good. It's been good. We'll definitely be doing more of those next year. So keep an eye out if you're in Perth.
Yes, absolutely.
We can say that.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, there'll be more of those coming out early next year.
Cool. Awesome. So let's go into your personal story if you're ready to open that can of worms.
How long do we have?
We got time. We got time. Share your voice.
Awesome. Yeah, so I guess my personal development started at the age of 15. I was overseas in England playing football, soccer, and I just started getting anxiety quite bad, being away from family and friends, the pressure of playing, I guess, a high level under coaches and stuff like that. It just got to me quite high, and I was like, man, this is really, really crap. Like I was struggling a lot. And then my mum suggested I listen to affirmation tapes from Louise Hay. Back then they didn't have like stuff that we have now. So it was like old CD players, and you put a CD in there and you click on repeat, and then I just play that out loud in my bedroom every night. So it was like affirmation tapes being played over and over when I was sleeping into my subconscious.
Nice. And
then mum said you should start meditating. And then meditation, I started doing it in the morning. It just started with 5 minutes and 10 minutes on Headspace. And then from there, that just like led into one thing to another. And then I was like, wow, meditation was like my real gateway into calming anxiety, understanding my body, my breath. And And then these affirmation tapes really reframed the programming of my mind to think in a more positive way when these situations started to arise. So that was like where it sort of first started. And then 13 years later, I still meditate every day. Like, it's meditation for me is my biggest portal. But around the age of 20, I got introduced to yoga, and I was like, wow, this is like meditation movement, but you're connecting with the breath. And there's like so much more to than just this physical practice of moving the body. It goes so much deeper. And then I just fell in love with yoga and took that around with me. My mum, she's an energy healer. So from a young age, I've always been into getting Reiki healings, energy healing. So like spirituality's always been around as well. So it's not something that was unfamiliar for me. So that was always there. And meditation and then yoga started to really enhance my personal development. Had a bit of a rocky road, if I'm being honest, with like drugs and alcohol for a period of time. And it was just, I really lost myself. And it's really weird. Like I'd go out and just get absolutely shit-faced on drugs and alcohol, and the next day I wake up and meditate and think like, oh yeah, this is all good. This is what it is. And until my best mate Marco actually sort of like pulled me out of it and was like, mate, what are you doing? Like, you're just wasting your life here, wasting money. Like, this isn't the person you are. And I was like, yeah, you're right. This isn't who I am. And then I really started cutting back from doing all that. And then my meditation started to become deeper. My yoga practice started to become deeper. Like Shavasana was starting to become more profound. Like for those who don't know, Shavasana is like the last pose you do in a yoga sequence at the end, where you just lay there and you just really become present with your mind and your thoughts. And then I started looking forward to that one pose at the end of every class. And like meditations, I was doing it in the mornings and at night. And I was like, wow, I want to do a meditation retreat. So I was doing these. This is when I was living in New Zealand. And then like I just really fell in love with it all. And cutting out the drugs and the alcohol and all this partying enhanced everything that I was experiencing on this other side. And I was like, this is incredible. So I just lent into that and managed to travel the world. I went to Europe and then lived in Canada
Nice.
with plans to travel the world until COVID hit. And then came back from Canada back to Perth. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to go work on the mines for a little bit, make some good cash as an electrician. And I was doing that, and I just didn't feel fulfilled. Like it was hard, like not playing soccer anymore because of an injury, and just never really had this sense of fulfillment that soccer used to give me. Electrician was great, got me to live in New Zealand, got me to move countries, and got me to do this and travel to Europe and kind of stuff like that. But I just didn't have this sense of purpose, and personal development started growing more and more. And I was up on the site. I tell this story to so many people, but there was like no one on site. No one on site doing yoga or anything like that. And there was like this massive gym and all these big masculine men were up there lifting weights. And then there's just me in the corner practicing yoga on a mat. And I'm just like, okay. And then that started. And then by the time I left this one site, and there was 10 to 12 people practicing yoga with me in the corner, guys and girls.
Wow.
And like that was just like an imprint of like, wow, like if one little person just shows up, look what can happen, and the ripple effect you can get from that. And then I kind of took that into the next project I was doing, and I was always doing yoga, and a few people always coming and talk to me about meditation and mindfulness and this kind of stuff. And I was like, I'm going to start studying this. This is something, a passion of mine. And then I started studying it. And from there I was like, wow, this is what I really want to do. And then I signed up to do my first yoga teacher training, quit my job, started as a mindset and life coach. From there, went into doing my YTT, finished that. I also studied meditation whilst I was studying the mindset and life coaching. Once that finished, I done a Cacao ceremonial training as well to learn how to facilitate and run Cacao ceremonies. And then, now it's 2 years later, and I've done another 300-hour YTT and another 50-hour YTT. So I've done about 550 hours of yoga teacher trainings, meditation trainings. I'm studying the science of breath, Cacao ceremonial trainings, mindset coach, everything. So it's like I've really developed myself into, I guess, a wellness practitioner, a wellness consultant. Now I run my wellness company, Peace Be the Journey Wellness, full time. Stepped into the corporate space, which is really cool. I'm running corporate wellbeing programs with them, doing on-site yoga and meditation as well, and one-on-one consulting. And it's, everything's just aligned really, really well, and I'm loving what I'm doing. So
That's amazing.
found fulfillment.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks for sharing the story.
Yeah, that's a bit of a journey.
Yeah, it is a journey. I feel like for people that have never done yoga before, what would you tell those people?
Yeah, awesome. Not to be scared. It's not yoga's not what Instagram and Facebook and these bigger social media things paint a picture of what yoga is. Like, you don't have to come in there and just stand on your head all day. And you don't have to get into these crazy poses where you put your feet behind your head and stuff like that. Like, the asana, which is the physical practice, is only like 5 or 10% of what yoga really is. Like, there's so much more. Like, yoga is breath work. Yoga is meditation. Yoga is your conscious awareness about how you live your life, the things you do to yourself and the things you do to people around you. There's just so much more to yoga than just that physical practice. And I think we get caught up in the Western world of just going, I just need to go get a quick fix and move my body and look at it as a bit of a workout. And then it's like, and then people can be quite intimidated, like, oh, I'm not flexible enough. It's not flexibility at all. There's like so much more to yoga than just doing these poses. So go to a beginner's class, go to a lot of class studios do like beginner series and just learn and just if you feel uncomfortable, you can reach out to yoga teachers. A lot of people do one-on-ones and mentoring, myself included. And it's like, it's awesome for people to start and then really understand what the true essence of yoga is, instead of feeling intimidated by needing to go there and seeing all these people doing these crazy poses or crazy asanas.
Yeah, totally. I feel like the moment I became a yogi almost, I guess you could say, like the moment I committed to a yoga practice weekly, if not daily, my whole world changed.
Yeah.
It's really just like you overcoming you
every
time you step onto the mat.
It is.
Yeah.
And it's finding this oneness. Like, yoga, the word yoga in Sanskrit means union. And union's this oneness. And it's like about finding oneness with your mind, your body and your breath, and being able to sync all of that when you do the movement, but also when you sit still. When you're in a seated pose, sukhasana, when you're in shavasana, which is corpse pose, lying down, like, you're in stillness, but you've still got the connection of the mind, the body and the breath. And how can you be present with that?
Yeah, your mum actually told me when I did take a break from yoga, she said, you have to go back because it's not just about the movement, it's the breath. And you need the breath to shift the stagnant energy within. And I was like, light bulb, duh.
Yeah, exactly right.
It's so true, yeah.
It is. Well, breath in yoga is called pranayama. And when you break it down, like, prana means life force and ayama means control. So can you have control over your life force? And that's the life force that moves through your body.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Yoga is amazing.
Yeah, it is. It is. Everyone needs to do it.
They do. They really
fix
do.
the world.
Yeah, it would. If everyone was a yogi, the world would be so different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Namaste.
Yeah. So moving from yoga into meditation, I feel like they definitely go hand in hand, but those people that don't meditate daily, what are the first things that you tell these people? If they're not into yoga, it's like, okay, cool. Meditation, why would you do it?
It's the benefits of meditation over time just speak for themselves. It's proven to help with like anxiety, depression and all these sort of things. But like the big thing is like mental clarity and focus, like helps heighten your intuition, which I know you speak a lot about. And that all comes from being able to have a clearer mind. But the biggest thing I think people get confused with meditation is we're not trying to stop our mind. We're not trying to just sit here and fight our thoughts or fight anything that's happening. It's like we're sitting here to start to observe the way the mind's moving. And it's like if thoughts are coming in, allow thoughts to come in. Just allow them to go as well. And it's like when we start to find more control over the way our thoughts are coming in, start to understand our brain a little bit more, start to focus on one thing, one pointedness, maybe it's the breath. Then over time, by doing this, you create a meditative state. So like you're not going there to try and meditate. You can't just try meditate. It's just like meditation is the act of you sitting, or meditation is the act of you going for a meditative walk, or doing pottery, or doing these different things. That can be an act of meditation. And over time from doing this, your mind can start to create this meditative state where that you become really present and really focused. And that's when the real joy of like this sitting in meditation or doing something in meditation starts to come out, because that's when everything starts to get heightened and risen and you're like, oh my God, I just feel so incredible. And the clarity you get, the things that come through to you as well in a meditation, it's like I'm sitting in this, you can meditate on things, ask yourself your subconscious questions, sit there and meditate and watch the answers come through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's incredible. You're just tapped in
Yeah.
to source, to
Yeah,
spirit.
exactly.
And then synchronicities happen and life just becomes clear.
Yeah, and it comes back to yoga.
Yeah.
The word union. Union's oneness. Oneness with source. Oneness with everything that's happening around us. Like, so you can. I think the beauty about understanding the depths of yoga is like, okay, meditation is yoga, breath work is yoga. All these things are yoga, and like if you can observe this off the mat as well, then it's like you're really observing the true essence of what it is.
Absolutely. Amazing. Love it. All right. Next pillar.
Yeah.
Cacao.
Ooh, this is a powerful one.
Let's talk cacao, because I feel like there's still a fair bit of unawareness around what it actually is.
Yeah.
So let's break it right down. What is it? How does it work? What's the purpose of it?
Cool. Yeah.
How'd you find it?
Awesome. That's really good question. I just stumbled across it. Someone said to me, "Hey, have you tried ceremonial cacao before when you meditate?" And I was like, "No, I haven't." And then it's like, "Well, you should try some." And then I was like, "Can you give me some?" So then they gave me some, and I was like, "Okay." And I tried it, and then I was like, "Wow, this is just I guess the energy and thing in my heart was just insane, and just the depth I got into in my meditation was like mental clarity and state. I was like, wow, this is deep. This is awesome." So I kind of was like, all right, this is interesting. I want to learn more about it. So I started reading up about it, trying to dive deeper into it. And I'll explain what it is. Like ceremonial cacao, it's been used for thousands and thousands of years, like in the Mayan elders in like South America, and then also in like India and all those types of countries as well. And they use it for ceremonies. It was used for ceremonies to help creation, pretty much, fertilization, but then also for heart opening, which is a really, really big thing. It's like being able to open up our hearts to connect more. And I guess when you open up your heart to connect more, you can allow people in, which can help, people create babies. But yeah, they used to sit around back in the day, and they used to do this in like with a big fire, and they'd all sit down there and have this ceremonial cacao, and they'd drink it, and then they'd sit there and meditate. It's like, you think of those like images of like the Native Americans, and they're sitting by the fire, and they're all just sitting there like looking up. It's just like, usually they're doing like plant journeys or plant medicine and stuff like that, but it's all natural. And cacao, ceremonial cacao, is a cacao bean raw, simply as it is, and all it is, it gets melted down from that. And when it's melted down, it's not stripped of any of its fats, not stripped of anything. When you strip fats from it, that's when it comes into raw cacao. And then from raw cacao, it gets shipped to like Cadbury and all those. And then they add their own fats, their own sugars in to make their own chocolate. So when you don't touch it, you just melt it down in its purest form. It's got all its fats. It's got all this connection true to source, to Mother Earth. And then that's what you sit in ceremony with. So you can have a ceremonial dose of about 40 to 50 grams to 150, 200 mils of water. Quite thick. For those who have never tried it before, it's probably going to be really thick, quite bitter. When you do it, you can do it with cayenne pepper. Otherwise, you just have it as it is. You don't really add anything else in when you're having it in a ceremonial dose. This is just to purely allow the heightenedness of the potency of pretty much the cacao, Mother Earth, to come through for you to open up your heart and to connect deeper into yourself, really, and to connect with one or source. Which is beautiful. But there's plus benefits to ceremonial cacao as well. Like that's not sitting in the ceremonial state. Like it's got antioxidants. It's really good for the body. It's really healthy. Like I don't drink caffeine at all. I don't have coffees. I drink a cacao, and I just don't have a ceremonial dose daily. Like I have 20 grams. And then I put it in with like some nice like almond milk, a little bit of honey, and then boiling water and mix it all together. And I was like, cool, this is like a nice, really good drink, and it's really good and healthy for me. But then when I know that I want to use it as a ceremony, I'm going to take my time. I'm going to cook it. I'm not going to add anything else in. I'm going to sit there, set my intentions. I'm going to sage it, cleanse it. And then I'm going to sit there and meditate with it, put my intentions into that, and really take my time and use it for, I guess, the essence of what it really has been used for so many years before it was created into chocolates and stuff like that.
Yeah, amazing.
Yeah.
I remember early days when I went to one of your ceremonies, when you're doing them solo.
Yeah.
Had the most profound experience. And it was the first or second cacao ceremony that I'd ever done. And the visualizations that can come through of like your higher self connecting with source, spirit, all these downloads and heart opening activations, like it's hard to put it into words because it's just so beyond what the mind can actually actualize.
Exactly right. And even people that I guess are a bit skeptical of things like that, like they've come to ceremonies one-on-one, or they've come to like group ceremonies that I've ran, even to like Eyes Closed, and they've come out and they've been like, wow, I just felt like all this stuff in my heart. I didn't know what it was, but I just felt this. And these are like people that maybe don't meditate that often, or are a bit like to what you're saying. And then they're like coming out and saying, I felt all this here. And you're like, so if you're even a little bit intuitive, or you're already a little bit tapped into the meditative side of things, to then sit in a ceremony like that and just crack that wide open, the portal's huge. That ceremony was
huge.
That was crazy. I was wiped out for like 3 days after that. I was like, there was like people in there channeling, and there's other people things. It was just like, and I'm sitting here looking at this container going, oh, crap.
Yeah, it was big.
It was very big.
It was very big. I went really deep, and it was like, wow, this is so much bigger than a meditation. And I'm in another dimension.
Yeah,
I'm not
exactly
here
right.
anymore. It's profound.
Yeah, and it's really, really powerful within the right setting. Like I was lucky enough to learn my training from a beautiful lady called Lynette Allen, and she took me through. She was living in Peru for like 3 or 4 years, and she learnt off shamans over there about ayahuasca. She was co-facilitating ayahuasca ceremonies, and then she was got trained and learnt how to facilitate cacao, ceremonial cacao, because she felt that was really connecting in for her and being able to facilitate that. And she taught me how to facilitate and run ceremonies, and I've like really been grateful for that, to be able to know how to open up and hold a safe container with this beautiful medicine, and then be able to close it down safely as well. So
yeah, I think it's really important to highlight what you just highlighted. Like, you want to go into these containers and settings with people that are trained.
Exactly right.
Going in there without people that are trained, it ain't it. Do you want to speak into sort of like the shadow side of this whole world of cacao and ceremonies, like?
Yeah, absolutely.
The ethical side.
Yeah, it's hard, especially in like this day and age where like, I guess wellness is a big thing. Can also be like, hey, this is like a market point for me to make money.
Yes.
And people can just jump on that, which is like, it's all well and good to be able to make money and have a career. I get that. I completely understand that. And we all need to do that. But with the right intentions is the biggest thing. And then also to be like, hey, if you're sitting in ceremony with someone, where has this person gotten their training from? Because if they haven't gotten their training, do they really know how to open up a ceremony or how to open up a circle and safely close it back down? And what if it starts to go out of that? When we talk about opening these things, it's bigger than what you are. And if they're not trained to learn how to allow things to flow through them, then it's coming from them and out of them, and it's draining them, and they can't control what's happening. Like dark spirits, dark shadows, all these things can come in. Or if people are there going through an experience and you're not there, okay, I'm seeing this person's going through this, I'm going to have to bring this in, or I'm going to have to go grab their feet to draw it out of them, or I'm going to have to use sage to help cleanse this section here. I'm going to have to do whatever it is, or I'm going to have to call in my guides and my spirits and stuff to help me support a little bit more. Like, then this person's just getting lost, and you can be pulling something off someone or this big shadow of someone, and then this shadow goes nowhere, so it latches onto you or stays in the room. Like it can be a dangerous world when you're not trained, or when you go somewhere that the facilitator isn't trained and doesn't know that. And we've been to a ceremony before where we felt that. We won't say where or what it was, but yeah, we've been there and we've felt that. I know that we both came out and went, wow,
it was crazy. We walked out of the same ceremony and said at the same point in that ceremony, we both felt this dark shadow entity come over us, and it was there. Yeah. And thank gosh you and I knew, but like, thank gosh we were placed there in that spot, because we know how to sort of
do our
keep
thing
that away.
And just keep yourself,
light.
keep yourself, lit up and protected. And
but it was definitely a moment where I was like, I really need to select who and where and what I'm doing and where I'm going, because you are opening yourself up energetically when you go into these spaces, and you want to be in safe hands always.
Yeah, exactly right. That's exactly right. And a tip of advice, I guess, that I could give to anyone out there is like, one, to do your research before going into any ceremony. Know the facilitator if you can. And if you don't know the facilitator, do some research on who's running this. And then also is to be able to ground yourself, take a moment, close down your eyes. I like to say, like, I've got a white light and gold circle surrounding myself, and then visualize it so I can see it around me, and then just be like, this white light and gold circle helps protect me from negative energies and entities. I'm safe and I'm grounded. Yeah. Something simple as that. Rephrase that a few times in my mind. I do it every morning. Just really gold circle myself so I'm protected. And it's just like, I'm good to go.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think everyone should be protecting themselves on the daily. Absolutely.
Yeah.
That visualization's powerful. Even in the shower in the morning, that's where I love
That's
to do
where I
it.
do it.
It's like, yep, I'm getting this whole
Yeah.
golden, beautiful bubble around me and I'm protected.
Yeah, and I like to like visualize. I'll be like standing there. I like to kind of like when I first get in, I'm like like the water's coming on me, I'm just like washing away like all the negativity, clear it all out, and then it's like, okay, now bring in this like light and energy, and it's like to wash away whatever I don't need, let it go,
Yeah.
and then bring in what I'm going to be able to hold for my container for the day.
Yeah.
Showers are awesome.
Yeah, so cleansing, so cleansing. I think we've touched on a lot today. Is there anything else that you want to highlight to people or speak into?
I guess it's super awesome for people leaning into starting their wellness journey or their personal development journey. I just think like my biggest tip of advice is to be like, it's not going to be easy. Like life's always going to be ups and downs. Life's going to be hard. You're going to have great days. You're going to have tough days. Personal development isn't something that is easy. Otherwise everyone would just be doing it. Be like, oh, this is so easy. I'm going to go through it. So like, ride the wave when the days are bad and the shadows are down and you're feeling not your best. Like that's okay.
Yeah.
And be okay with being like that. Like sit in that and be like, that's okay. Don't look to avoid or cover things up. Like I teach in like one of my coaching programs, I teach about like how we have these tendencies to like seek pleasure or avoid pain. And it's like if you're leaning into that, it's just like, where is this coming from? Why are you seeking pleasure? What pain are you looking to avoid? And it's just like, and lean into that. It's like, hey, like move through the pain. And if you're seeking pleasure with intention for the right reasons, beautiful. And if there's other reasons, underlying issues there, it's just like, okay, well maybe journal that out or meditate on that and work through things. And I think like speaking to like, I've got a therapist. I speak to my therapist every month. I think that's been like a massive, massive help for me and always has. Like even on the good days, like I feel great now. Life's fucking amazing now. But I got my therapist appointment next week.
Yeah.
So like, and it's like, I just go see her, chat to her, and I've found a good therapist. It takes time. Same with coaches. If you find a life coach or someone you want to work with, like find someone that's aligned to your values. And it's like, hey, like, yeah, I'm aligned with what they're talking about and the way they paint a picture of themselves. It's like, okay, do they really live their life authentically to the way they want to coach? And it's just like, and if they do, it's like, okay, I can connect with that. I'd like to connect with that person more. And I find like that's the people that I coach one-on-one that like come into me, like it's always been through word of mouth. I don't really advertise my coaching much because I've got so much else going on, but I love coaching and I love coaching people, and I know the right people come to me at the right times. And they have, and the people that I've worked with have been incredible and they've had incredible results, but like they felt aligned and wanted to work with me, and they were like, okay, I agree with his values and the way he, I guess, authentically shows up, then I'm going to work with that. So,
yeah. You really have to be the embodiment of what you're preaching when you are coaching.
Yeah, big time.
For sure. And I think as well with coaching, the difference between therapy and coaching, therapy is obviously dealing with trauma or the deeper stuff.
Yeah.
Coaching is helping you to align your life and create tangible changes.
Yeah, exactly. Reframing it.
Yeah.
It's just like, let's reframing these ideas. And like therapy is incredible because they can go so deep, and it's like, and you can shift so much. And that's why I like, if anything, I'd like do therapy and have a coach.
Yeah.
Because it's like a therapist can help shift so much, and a coach can help project you forward.
Yeah.
And the therapist is like, you can't wound heals without going through it. Like breath work, incredible. Somatic releases, incredible. But like for me, like I've done a lot of somatic releases. I've done heaps of breath work. But something that really worked for me was like EMDR therapy, which my therapist, which is like with the eyes, and you follow the eyes and they go into that. And for me, like I had bigger releases on that where I was like, almost like plant medicine releases where I was there vomiting, releasing and crying, and so much stuff was coming out from traumas of this childhood traumas. And then I was like, wow, I feel so good after it. And that was from one little therapist exercise. And like it blew me away. And then, and I think it's important to know that like, hey, like, you got to go through some dark stuff sometimes to be able to get out on the other side.
Totally. I think we're all constantly just evolving closer towards our higher self, and we have to unpack these things and just find the modalities that work for you. And
yeah, exactly right.
Yeah, just make sure that you're holding yourself with compassion every time that you're going through it.
Yeah, that's exactly it.
Love it. Final question to wrap it up. What do you still need to do before you die so you don't die with regret, Jordan?
That's a really good question. So I could take this two ways. One could go really, really deep.
Go on.
But then one's like something that really lights me up and fulfills me, but it's a lot lighter.
Go both.
So like, I guess the one that just really fulfills me up and lights me up was like, I left Perth at the age of 21 and I wanted to travel the world until I was 30, and COVID hit and I came back home. So I haven't been able to do that. So I'd love to be able to go out there and still travel Central and South America, go over east, go live in India, Sri Lanka, and experience what it's like through Southeast Asia and all that kind of stuff, and just backpack and travel through, which is something that was cut short. I think that. And then going a little bit deeper, man, I just would like to, I just actually like to help as many people as I can when I think about it. And I'm just like, I could go deeper and deeper into that, but like when you go down each little angle, it just leads back to me wanting to show up as my authentic selves for others to be able to learn how to show up as their authentic selves as well.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Love it. Drop the mic.
Thanks,
That was incredible. No, that was really, really, really incredible, Jordan. So thank you for coming on today. I think lots of people would have lots of different takeaways from that. It's always nice to have another male perspective and to help people reach themselves deeply. It's just a beautiful way to really communicate everything that you've been through and help others to conceptualize what they're going through too. So thank you for sharing that today.
No worries. Thanks for having me on here.
Awesome. Well, thanks for listening, everybody.
Thank
if you enjoyed this episode and you enjoyed Jordan's philosophies, we're going to link all of his tags, websites, Instagram, everything in the description. And we'll see you guys for our next episode.
Sweet.
Thanks.
Thank you.